Okay, today we're going to talk about cash flow management for SaaS startups. Your SaaS company just hit $2 million in annual recurring revenue, as an example. Your P&L is looking great, your growth is strong, and investors are knocking on the door. They seem to be interested. But you've got 60 days of cash left in the bank. How does a profitable looking SaaS company run out of money? I've studied this cash flow death spiral in several case studies. Today, I'm showing you how to avoid it and manage SaaS cash flows like a pro. I'm a finance exec in the Silicon Valley. I've been working for 30 years here, and I've completed several valuation studies for over 9 SaaS companies at various growth stages. Through financial analysis and case studies, I've seen how SaaS cash flow management can make or break even the most promising startups. The problem is not usually revenue growth. It's understanding how SaaS economics create unique cash flow challenges that traditional business models don't have. There's a SaaS cash flow trap that we talk about. These are SaaS companies that face a fundamental cash flow challenge that trips up most founders. It's a revenue recognition versus cash collection gap. Here's a real example from a case study I analyzed. Company sells a $120,000 annual contract in January. For accounting purposes, they recognize $10,000 in revenue each month. Looks great on the P&L, right? But here's a cash reality. January, they collect only $30,000 at 25% upfront payment. April, they collect $30,000, Q1 payment. July, collect $30,000, Q2 payment. October, another $30,000, Q3 payment. So while they're showing $10,000 monthly revenue, their actual cash collection is quite lumpy. And it's delayed. So the growth paradox is the faster you grow, the worse your cash flow gets. Why? Because you're constantly investing in customer acquisition before you collect the full contract value. I studied a company about 3 years ago, growing 200% year over year, that was almost 90% away from running out of cash, despite being profitable on paper. Growth was consuming cash faster than they could collect it. So let's talk about the 4 pillars of SaaS cash flow management. Here's a framework that works for SaaS cash flow management. Pillar 1. Payment terms optimization. Most SaaS startups accept whatever payment terms customers offer. Big mistake. Winning strategies have observed annual payments with 10 to 15% discount versus monthly. Quarterly payments as a standard, not monthly. 50% upfront, 50% at contract midpoint for large deals. What is the impact of that case study? One company moved from monthly to quarterly collection and improved their cash flow by 4 months of operating expenses without changing their revenue. They got upfront cash payments. Pillar 2, the 13-week rolling cash flow model. This is non-negotiable for SaaS companies. You need weekly cash flow visibility, not monthly. Your model should track weekly cash collections by customers, weekly expense burn by category, seasonal patterns in collections, customer payment behavior trends. I've seen companies avoid cash crunches simply because they could see problems 8 to 10 to 12 weeks in advance instead of discovering them when the bank account was close to zero. There's the pillar 3 component, which is a collection process, which is very important. Automation SaaS companies that manually chase collections are playing with fire. Best practices from successful case studies: automated dunning sequences starting 7 days before payment is due. Payment failure, retry the logic with credit cards. Account restrictions for customers 30 days past due. Executive escalation for accounts over $10,000 past due. What the impact is. Companies with automated collections, they reduce their DSOs by 15 to 25 days on average, releasing working capital. Pillar 4, customer health monitoring for cash flow. Churn does not hurt your ARR, it destroys your cash flow projections. Early warning indicators to track. Support ticket volume increases. Declining usage metrics. Payment delays often precedes churn by 60 to 90 days. Reduce engagement with success team. One company I studied could predict churn 90 days in advance and started offering retention incentives that improved both churn rates and cash flow timing. So there are metrics that truly matter. Most SaaS companies track the wrong cash flow metrics. Here is what actually matters. the DSOs, days sales outstanding, by customer segment. Overall DSO is useless. You need DSO by customer size, enterprise versus strategic versus SMB, payment terms, annual versus quarterly versus monthly, geographic region, industry vertical. In enterprise customers typically pay in 45 to 60 days, SMB customers maybe 15 to 30 days. If you're mixing these together, you cannot manage cash flow effectively. Cash collection forecast accuracy. Track how accurate your 13-week cash collection forecasts are. You should be within 10% of predicted collections. If you're consistently off by more than 15% of your assumptions about customer payment behavior, then something is wrong. Burn multiple, look at that. This is cash burn divided by the net new ARR acquired. Good SaaS companies under 2x burn $2 for every $1 of ARR. Great SaaS companies under 1.5x, world-class SaaS companies under 1x. Working capital as percentage of revenue. SaaS companies should have negative working capital. Customers pay you before you deliver the full service. If your working capital is positive, you're either collecting too slowly or spending cash too fast relative to your revenue timing. So, what is a tactical cash flow optimization? There are 3 tactical moves that improve SaaS cash flow immediately. Move 1, implement the payment incentives, offer some discounts for annual upfront payments. Even if only 30% of your customers take it, the cash flow improvement pays for the discount. Math. $100,000 ARR customer paying annually versus monthly. Annual payment, $85,000 upfront, 15% discount. Monthly payment, $83.33 per month over 12 months. Cash flow benefit, $85,000 today versus $83.33 monthly. The time value of money and the reduced collection risk make this very profitable. Move to automate invoice to cash. From invoice generation to payment processing to collections, automate everything possible. Companies with manual processes average 45-day collection cycles. Companies with automated processes average 25-day collection cycles. It depends on the mix of large versus small. 20 days faster collection will create 20 days more runway. Create cash flow scenarios. Build 3 cash flow models. A conservative model where you have 20% slower collections, 10% higher churn. Base case, let's assume current trends continue. Optimistic, 15% faster collections, 5% lower churn. Update these weekly and always manage the conservative case. This is stress testing your model. SaaS flow cash management is not just about having enough money in the bank. It's about optimizing the timing between when you spend money to acquire customers and when you collect money from them. The companies that master this timing can grow faster, raise money at better terms, and avoid the cash flow death spiral that kills profitable SaaS businesses. Remember, revenue recognition shows you if your business model works. Cash flow management shows you if your business will survive. Thank you.